Here we go.
This is our country presentation on Singapore. The team members are Preston Bryant, Quentin Caldwell.
Jaileen Castro and Juwan Weaver. The political. Singapore, which is located in Southeast Asia with a total of 279 square miles and a population of 5.84 million people. Some political background would be in 1959, the People's Action Party led to a general election giving their first prime minister. At this time, Singapore was a self governing state within the British Empire colony. Singapore was once a British Crown colony from 1946 to 1963. It was later on in 1963, Singapore became a part of the Federation of Malaysia. Singapore represents a parliamentary democracy republican, which means a form of democracy in which an elected legislature chooses the chief executive, who is the prime minister, which is currently Lee Hsien Loong, currently 69 years old. He's only the third prime minister of Singapore. He also has a lot of power compared to the president. The prime minister has the power to remove any social media due to the country's restrictions and their laws.
The economic. Singapore is considered a high income economy. In 2017, Singapore had a $54,530 gross national income per capita. These numbers make the economy of Singapore very robust and one of the world's most advanced. Singapore is a major financial hub in Asia Pacific. This economy is mind blowing to experts because Singapore does not have a large market and they also do not have many natural resources. But the government has a very large amount of revenue each year. They are also one of the only economies in the world that can boast about having zero foreign debt. Singapore has many industries they can count on to drive their economy. By far, the most successful industry is their manufacturing. Manufacturing is important to Singapore as it involves about 25% of their country's annual GDP. Among the many things that Singapore is known to manufacture, they specialize in electronics, logistics, chemicals, and biomedical sciences. They also have a high demand for their precision engineering. One of the other large industries in Singapore is the financial services. This is mostly due to Singapore having a very friendly business environment. Singapore is proud of the fact that they do not have massive regulations on their business sectors. This allows for companies that are more than willing to open and do business in Singapore. Singapore has a very small amount of landmass. When compared to the United States, it's about the size of New York. They do not let this stop them from being a major player in important parts of the world's economy. Despite not having hardly any natural resources, they are becoming well known for being a hub for oil and gas in this region. They have also become very strong in sustainable water solutions. Singapore's people also play a major part of their economy. Singapore has a large amount of their population who are educated and ready to work in today's world economy. The legal. Singapore is one of the safest countries in the world. It has one of the lowest crime rates in the world. Singapore has a legal system that is based on English law because at one time they were part of the British colonies. Singapore is also known to be one of the most heavily fining countries in the world. For example, they fine people for breaking even the simplest laws. Because of this, Singapore has stayed on top of the world's list for safest and lowest crime numbers. This is also another reason that people find it very friendly to do business in this country. When you begin to study the legal system of Singapore, you notice that it's not much different from that of the United States. There are four parts of the Singapore legal system in which the country is comprised: the Constitution, and the legislation, and the subsidiary legislation and legal decisions. This system also considers all people to be equal, and everyone is supposed to have a fair shot when entering the legal system. One of the things that's very similar to the US is the Singapore Supreme Court. This is the country's highest court, and the leader of this court is the Chief Justice, and is appointed by the president. Outside of these reasons that make these courts similar, there are many things that make the Singapore legal system seem very different to the rest of the world. For instance, it is still illegal to chew gum in Singapore, and for chewing gum in Singapore, you can be fined $100,000 or sentenced to prison for 2 years. Another law that sets Singapore apart is a law that says walking naked in your own home is illegal. You can be put in jail for being naked in the privacy of your own home. You cannot smoke in Singapore unless you are inside your home and only if your neighbors do not complain. You could also be fined for simply making noises past 10 o'clock at night. There's a law in Singapore that allows officials to fine you up to $500 for not flushing the toilet. And yes, they do check to make sure people are flushing the public toilets. Singing in public can land you in prison for up to 3 months. You also cannot party or drink alcohol between the hours of 10:30 p.m. and 7 a.m. unless you have a permit to do so. The culture, the culture of Singapore is very diverse and incorporates many different people from different nations. The British government ruled this country until 1963. Although they are no longer controlled by the British, a person can still see evidence today in the Singapore culture. Most citizens in Singapore are a form of Chinese descent. There are also people that come from Malaysia and India and other places in Europe. Singapore prides itself on their people being clean cut, well dressed. They don't take kindly to unorganization. Things such as littering is illegal and not considered to be something culturally accepted in Singapore. Other things, such as a public show of affection, is considered inappropriate. A guest, when visiting someone for the first time, are expected to bring a gift as a sign of respect. They still use chopsticks in Singapore, and as a part of their culture, it is recommended that chopsticks not be rested vertically. It is also better to leave some food on your plate when you're finished eating. Doing this is a symbol that you enjoyed your meal and there are plenty of food provided.
Social structure. Singapore is made up of five different Pacific social structures: working class, middle class, intermediate class, upper middle, and high class. Social structures continue with working class can make the largest part of the population where they are make only up to 50 to $400 per month. The lower middle class has the economic stability as their income is around $12,000. The intermediate fares are a little bit as they can make up to $25,000 a year. The upper middle class can combine of a $50,000 a year. The upper class has a very large income compared to the other groups as they live lavishly.
Singapore's education is made up of three different levels: 6 years of primary school, 4 years of secondary school, 1 to 3 years in tertiary level training. And there are testing requirements. School based tests are administered to students after completion of their 4th year of primary school. Upon completing the 6th year of primary school, students will be given another school based test. After completing their secondary schooling, students are required to take exams that will determine which tertiary institution they will be placed in. Students through every level of education are constantly taking assessment tests, which are extremely important for preparing them for their next level of education.
Religion. Singapore has major religions, anywhere from Hinduism, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, and Taoism. Religion in the government is banning religion that have been showing different levels of resistance against the government are being banned. Jehovah Witness are one of the religions that have been seen banning because of the opposing views of the military. The Roman Catholic activists and some churches have dealt with them detaining and condemning due to the government believing that they are a threat to the nation's racial harmony.
The time span of 2002 to 2003, there was a minor decrease in the population of Singapore. Newcomers ended up developing newer accents that they didn't intend on developing. Even during the 1830s to 1840s, the immigrants were the main attraction. In today's time, the foreigners make up the majority of the population and still currently migrate there. Overcrowding will not be able to be stopped. The population of Singapore is a very vital part of this country. Singapore is expected to reach a population of 6.9 million people by the year 2030. The large influence of immigrants led to a rapid increase in the population of the colony. You'll less likely see decrease in population in the country of Singapore. Singapore has 4 official languages: English, Malay, Mandarin, and Tamil. English and Malay are the main 2 spoken languages amongst the many people. Some of the Singaporeans can speak more than the 4 languages mentioned, which is why the country is known for their wide mix of languages. Intermarriage is the main cause of the language shift in Singapore.
These are our references in the next 3 slides. Thank you.